In the previous video, I was telling you that we will discuss about a principle that is very useful in trading and you must know about it. And this is called, I like to call this the Heisenberg effect, but it's also known as the uncertainty principle or the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. This is the kind of the original name because it comes from quantum mechanics, so it's not something that comes from trading. The same philosophy that happens in quantum mechanics, it also happens in news and trading. And in quantum mechanics, it's a little more complex. If you're passionate about it, you can have a look. And the best example that I can tell you from quantum mechanics that it's very fast to explain and easy to understand, it's light. So when you look at stars in the night, what you see is some dots of lights, but if that star is very far away, you are actually seeing what you see in front of your eyes is a version from the past of that star. Because if the light has been traveling for the last 50 years through space to get in that moment on your night sky, it means that the light that you see, it's 50 years old. So it's like a picture from the past with that light. And if you watch space documentaries with all those telescopes that they have, with the Hubble telescope that looks at space and he sees lights and stuff, so all of that information, all of that stuff, it's from the past. So it's not what's happening in that moment, in that place. So that's a mind-bending reality of the world we live in. And another interpretation of this uncertainty principle, it's with news and trading. And if you find online information about an asset that you're about to trade, so let's see, if in this moment you trade the Bitcoin, so you have this signal here to go long, but you start to see negative news about the Bitcoin, you should ignore everything you see, because if it's on the internet, everybody knows about it. So probably it's not going to go down. Probably it already went down a little and it didn't have a much effect. But if an information it's on the internet, it's in front of everyone, that information doesn't have any effect anymore on nothing. This is the Heisenberg principle in trading. So everything you know about trading, every information you have, it's not going to affect the asset that you're about to trade. And this is true also for the economic calendar. So if you use the economic calendar, I like to use this from forexfactory.com. You'll see here that you have a lot of news every day. So every day you have news here. I filtered this. So this is a filter. You can filter currencies. So I put Euro, GBP, USD. Those are the main currencies. Expected impact. So this is high impact news. Medium impact. And bank holidays, for example, non-economic. Then event types, all of them: growth, inflation, employment, central bank, bonds, housing, consumer surveys, and so on. This is focused mainly on currencies, but you also have here metals calendar and energy calendar. So if you trade gold, you can look at metals, energy, you can look at oil. Let's see metals calendar, let's see what we have around here. Metals mine. So if let's apply a filter. So let's add here countries, can add Eurozone, United States, United Kingdom, growth, inflation, employment, all of this. Let's take off this one. Let's apply filter. And you can see, so Monday we had LME copper inventories. I don't know what this LME is. Can probably find information about this. So London Metals Exchange, LME, it's London Metals Exchange, and it's probably saying what's the copper inventories for UK. Actual minus 100. So somewhere around here you find the graph, but also this is the data, so it's minus 100, whatever that means for the copper. I don't trade copper. Then you have UK, US core retail sales, industrial production, Federal Reserve, LME again, CPI, FOMC, so this is Federal Reserve again, unemployment claims, manufacturing index, and so on. So you can look So you can look at this CPI on Canada, and you see that it's 0.6 on the positive, and you might think that it will be a good idea to buy the Canadian dollar or something like that. Or you see this minus 100 for copper, and you think that maybe you should sell copper. And I'm not going to go there and look now, because it can take a lot of time and it's boring. But you can do that. You can check news, positive versus negative, and see how many times that asset has respected the positivity and negativity of the news. I mean, if it's positive, it has to go up. If it's negative, it has to go down. And you see that sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, in such a confusing way that you don't know anymore if you should watch those news or not. And the reality is that it's not. It just doesn't care about the news. It just moves when the news appears. But it doesn't matter. It's just a number. Minus 100 doesn't necessarily mean negative. Maybe that's, in this period of the year, it's normal to have those numbers. Who knows? So if you want, you can do that. But I'm telling you, only breaking news will probably affect prices. And you shouldn't look at the positivity, negativity, hawkish, dovish, and all those buzzwords that they use on the social media, because you're losing your time and you're diverting your attention in the wrong way. If you ask people around, they will tell you that when the asset doesn't respect the news, it's because the information was already priced in the market. So if it doesn't respect, it's priced in the market. If it respects, it works. It does not make any sense when you put it like that. So my advice is to be aware of the uncertainty principle and the Heisenberg uncertainty principle in general, and never think that an information that you find on the internet it's special because you found it and no one knows about it. That's why when you see a course that it claims it has some secrets, probably they don't, because if it was that simple, you pay $1,000 for a course and you have the secrets to just make millions, why would you be the first one who find that secret? Are you really the first one, or is it just a marketing scheme? You need to think about that in trading and in any type of information. See you in the next video.